22 degrees 5 minutes north, 159 degrees 30 minutes west. The island of Kauaʻi is the oldest of the major inhabited Hawaiian islands. It's also home to some of Mother Nature's most spectacular handiwork. Should you find yourself exploring Kauaʻi's northeast coast and looking for something a bit different to do, here's just the thing. By the way, this adventure is best booked in advance. You'll find Aina Kai Botanical Gardens and Sculpture Park off Kuhio Highway, about a mile and a half south of Kilauea town. If spending vacation time exploring a botanical garden isn't exactly what you had in mind, worry not. Aina Kai is like nothing you've ever seen before, not by a long shot. Drive in and park. Then wander into the visitor center to meet your tour guide. Depending on your interest, you can ride, walk, trek, or all of the above. Tour for 90 minutes or make a day of it. What you're about to see, unbelievably, began in 1979 as a 12-acre home landscaping project for a California couple that decided to retire to Kauaʻi. 35 years later, Joyce and Ed Doty's project covers 240 acres and has grown into one of the most celebrated outdoor experiences in the country. The formal gardens, the original gardens, are a good place to start discovering Aina Kai. Walk into the Shower Tree Park and begin looking around. Sitting quietly under the trees, a grandfather and granddaughter play checkers. They're life-sized and bronze. And they're just the first of over 160 sculptures you'll find lovingly tucked away in every nook and cranny of Aina Kai. Just ahead is Kauaʻi Lagoon, named for the white-tailed tropic birds at its center. Strolling down the paths, you'll find yourself beginning to move at a more leisurely pace. Tranquility, it seems, can be contagious. At the top of a small rise, a Japanese tea house overlooks a waterfall. While at its base, a small boy plays with a frog. The Poinciana maze was begun in 1987 with 2,400 mock orange seedlings. Get your first look at the Poinciana maze from the gazebo overlook. Then plunge in. Right, left, anywhere you turn, you'll find visual treats. Natural and man-made. Work your way to the large Poinciana tree at the top of the maze and George Lundine's captivating Hearts on a Swing. Just outside the maze is the Palm Garden. Here, varieties from all over the world have been gathered together. The amazing telepot palm comes from India and can live to be 100 years old. One of the fascinating things about Aina Kai is the success with which diverse gardens have been combined into a pleasing whole. To create the desert garden, berms of cinder and soil were built to block the wind and provide the drainage necessary for this arid southwestern dry wash habitat. The two wild forest gardens, one by the sea and the other more inland, are in sharp contrast to the manicured beauty of the formal gardens. Here, every attempt has been made to preserve the natural environment and provide safe havens for birds and other wildlife. Easy-to-navigate pathways through the marshes and canyons are sculpted to fit the natural terrain. from its rugged northern coastline beach to its secluded ponds and bamboo forests, the wild gardens are a wonderful way to see Kauaʻi at its most magnificent. And all along the way, there's art. Beautifully and unobtrusively placed. Exactly where it seems it should be. The Doty's planning for Aina Kai reaches far into the future. To that end, the gardens became a not-for-profit foundation in 1999. And to secure its financial future, 60,000 exotic hardwood trees were planted. The careful harvesting and replenishing of the hardwood plantation will fund Aina Kai for generations to come. The gardens, thanks to the fertile imagination of Joyce Doty, are also constantly growing and changing. Take the horticulture amusement garden, for example. This is an exercise in pure whimsy. Remember the wooden airplane you loved as a kid? Well, here's a real live balsa tree. And this is what a cashew nut looks like when it's growing. Most everything growing here is related to eating. And the jovial residents of the horticulture amusement garden are always hungry for more. As the number of visitors to Aina Kai grew, the Dotys realized that a special children's area was needed. And thus, Under the Rainbow was born. Anchored by a 16-foot-tall Jack-and-the-Beanstalk fountain and splash pool, this garden is every kid's dream come true. No computer games here. This is fun, the old-fashioned way. Wooden trains and airplanes, a giant treehouse, a gecko maze, and of course, the neighborhood pigs, toad, and hippo. Right next door, and equally kid-friendly, is the Navajo compound. Complete with a 137-foot-long red rock escarpment, teeming with all manner of desert critters, Indian hogans, and their bronze inhabitants depicting daily life in a Navajo village. With instilling a bit of cultural education in mind, the Dotys created a miniature ahupua'a. Traditionally, Hawaiian land was divided into pie-shaped wedges running from the mountains to the sea. The idea being that everything a community needed to live could be found within this ahupua'a. Joyce commissioned Big Island sculptor Holly Young to create an ohana, or extended family of inhabitants, and Lane Luna created an ocean populated by Hawaii fish. There you have it. Aina Kai, Lands by the Sea, is an ever-evolving creation, unique among the world's botanical gardens. The Doty's legacy to Kauaʻi and the world is a living mosaic of 13 diverse gardens. A pristine sandy beach, a fern-draped canyon, a hardwood plantation, and one of the largest collections of bronze sculptures in the country. It's sure to be one of your fondest memories of Kauaʻi as well.